Welcome to the second ever episode of Demolition TV. Depending how you count it, our Collard Limited is celebrating either its 20th or its 21st anniversary this year. We visited Rob Collard to find out about the company, how he juggles a motor racing career alongside his demolition job, and to find out more about his commitment to waste and recycling.
We started our Collard in December 1995, and it then really got going the following year. It was a transition period from being a sole trader. I'd been a sole trader for a few years prior to that, but then with getting into the demolition industry, running some trucks on the road, we got advised legally to go limited. That was really the landmark of really when things started to snowball in my working career, and it very progressively became quite an animal to what our Collard is now, employing over 250 people, and it's rapidly still growing, which is a great pleasing sight for me at the moment. Clients now are so much more aware of credit values, waste minimisation routes, so they want to see, if that building's made of steel, they know they're not going to pay the same price they would if it was made of concrete. They're looking for credit values. So everything is about how much you can give the client back. And that's where the industry has changed so much. 20 years ago, you gave the guy a price and they gave you the job or they didn't. Now you've got a massive big spreadsheet of credit value for this, credit value for that, and you're breaking it down, and they want to see that process. And if you're not a company that can offer that process, you're not going to win the work. To have a transfer station, you have a good source of material. If you're doing the demolition, you are the source. So again, it's another hand and glove process. So I've made a lot of investment in crushers and in wash plants. We spent £2.5 million last year building a new wash plant. What we're now making is a very pure, fine sort of. We're making sharp sand, soft sand. We're making a 10mm shingle, 20mm shingle, 40mm shingle, or reject stone. We can make all this stuff, so it's a no-brainer just to mix a bit of dust with the sand and the shingle and make cement, and you turn a very, very low value material into a high value product, which again it helps complements everything that we do at our Collard Limited. To make concrete that can go into foundations of an office block, you've got to use virgin materials. The recycled product is probably more the lower end of the market for people building conservatories, maybe a garden wall, very low garage bases, that sort of stuff. So we're going to be selling that to the lower end of the market. But technology is moving so fast now in recycled products. It's only a matter of time before it gets improved, and we can maybe start making a higher value concrete. You could spend £1 million every 6 months on waste with new equipment, new resources that are coming out, different styles of waste. People are now baling and wrapping waste and selling it and sending it to Europe, which I don't think is a good thing, if I'm honest. The carbon footprint of us producing waste in the UK and putting it on an Eddie Stobart truck and it getting shipped out to Holland or Germany isn't good. They use that waste then to burn in concrete plants, cement plants, tarmac plants in Europe to generate electricity. I really don't see how that can work from a carbon footprint point of view. We should be doing a lot more of incineration in the UK. I live on adrenaline. I'm a sportsman through and through. Whatever we do competitively and we do well. I try and teach that to my children, and also to anybody that works here at our Collard Limited. As a team, we try and use that ethos from sport. We win together, we lose together. There's no I in team. We all come together, and it's great when that is there. And the whole team, doesn't matter whether it's on a Sunday at a racetrack or you come into work on a Monday, and everybody's looking out for each other. It's a good feeling. I believe what gives my company the edge over a lot of the other demolition companies is the fact that when we look at a demolition project, we look at what is the waste arising isn't a waste. So we look at a demolition contract, to get the job down to the floor level, but we then look at every demolition contract as a waste recycling operation. So when that material is on the floor, we go into the segregation, and again it's segregating that waste as you bring the building down. It's no good just bringing it all down in one massive big heap, because you then just got one big pile of junk, one big pile of waste. The one thing I'd like to see in the demolition industry is a little bit more awareness, and just generally, and more money in it. The demolition industry is a very, very tough, hard fought industry to survive in. It doesn't get a lot of recognition for the risks and the hard work that we put in at all levels of our industry. We don't get rewarded enough, and that doesn't matter from where you're looking at, whether that's a guy that's pushing the wheelbarrows or using the mattock to strip a building, or to the crane operators driving the diggers. There should be more money involved in our industry. It really does need more awareness for the risks that we have to do. The environment that we have to work in sometimes. You're going into buildings that have been empty for 10, 20, 30 years, that have been left in an appalling state. These guys are working in very, very unpleasant conditions. I am getting older, so it's only a matter of time before I stop racing, or at the competitive level that I am racing at the moment. But I will always be a demolition contractor. That's in my blood, and I will always race cars at some point. That will be in my blood. I'll be doing historic somewhere when I'm 70, because I just love racing. I love being part of it, and I also love demolition. It's part of my life. It's part of where my future is going, and it's what I want my two boys to do.
Erith Contractors is working with charitable initiative The Passion Project to deliver a new benchmark in demolition apprenticeships. We visited one of their sites to find out more.
The Passion Project are interested in demolition in particular because it is a specialist sector. It's something that not necessarily is promoted to young people as early as possible for them to find an interest and a passion. So the idea of having the collaboration between industry specialists and ourselves that work across the network of communities, charities, Job Centre Plus, St Giles Trust and London Probation, it enables us to get the message out there very early on, particularly in schools and in academies, which is really key to get that employer engagement.
The reason Erith got involved in the Passion Project was through Liz Orbitelli. We've got a long-standing relationship with Liz, and some other projects that we've worked on to try and get young people into demolition work areas. And Liz came to us with a suggestion of working together again through the Passion Project. And through our experiences before, we developed a training regime and a mechanism that we felt would suit us as the demolition industry, that would work better than what we've seen previously with construction related industries such as plumbing, electrical works and painting and decorating. So that was the main reason we wanted to get involved, and the opportunity to actually design the training programme, knowing full well what the demolition industry needed to enable the guys to come onto site from day one and start working.
Basically, I was signing on at the job centre for around 6 months, and they just gave me a leaflet and told me to be at a certain place, and I went there and I met the Passion Project with Liz and a few representatives from demolition. Yeah, and they explained it to us, explained what they was trying to do. I've always been more of a hands-on person. I like practical work rather than sitting down and writing or just repeating the same things over. I like to learn new things, and when they was explaining it, they were saying that it's not like a stagnant job where you just do one thing. There's always chances to reach out and learn something new. People are always pushing you. So it just felt like a good team environment that I wanted to be in.
They did a 3-month probation period. Whoever they are placed with, in the case of the first 10, it was with Erith. Erith had made a commitment to putting those 10 through the NDTG 2-year apprenticeship, where after that they can go on to become machine drivers, labourers, if that's how far they want to go, burners, site supervisors, and hopefully onto management. I think there's a good opportunity for at least 2 to 3 of this initial 10 that they will go a long way, and within 5 years they'll be site supervisors.
Erith were very open to looking at how they could address their future skills needs. They have tried for some time to find apprentices and young people that they can invest in. We've had a discussion and they've been very open to say, look, we are definitely available, we will sit around the table, we will bring in the NFDC, we will bring in the IDE, and we will get this working right, and we will support it as a pilot. That is very rare. In addition to that, they've actually done what they said they would do. They've joined the Passion Project, they are one of our founder members. They've done that for the reason that they want to have a collaborative approach between all the sectors to prove that there is a future career for young people in the demolition industry.
The process we wanted to achieve initially was to get them working within a sort of a 12-week time frame. So initially we set up a seminar day. We had 2 sessions of 15 where we got people in who were potentially interested in becoming demolition operatives, and with myself, Duncan Riddell, who's IDE President, and another IDE Council member, Mick Uliat, we set up a presentation that lasted about an hour and a half. So it started with Liz giving an introduction to what the Passion Project was, then Duncan and myself giving a talk on the demolition industry, what opportunities are available in demolition, and why we really need young people in the industry. From there, the guys or the people that were interested had an interview with Liz and her team from the Passion Project to make sure they were suitable and would be committed to following the training through. After this, we narrowed them down to 10 people after an interview, because the IDE made a commitment to sponsor the first 10 people through their training. That took a process of about 4 or 5 weeks. Once we got our initial 10 candidates, 3 weeks after that we had our 2-day training session, which consisted of the CCDO Level 1 operative course and then the full 1-day asbestos operative course. Once the training certificates have been issued, we then made a commitment to place those 10 operatives on a 3-month probation period within 4 weeks. So the whole process from them first being introduced to demolition, actually physically coming on site and starting work, was about 10 weeks.
After I signed up, we met with a guy called Duncan here, and he further explained about the project. And then we had to do 2 tests. We had to do a health and safety, and we had to do an asbestos awareness test. And then once we passed that, they told us they'll get back to us in a few weeks, and then roughly 3 weeks after, they contacted me by email and just told me that they would like to offer me a position. I've done a bit of labouring, I've done my traffic marshal training, that's what I'm doing right now. I've done a bit of burning. Yeah, I'm still learning. I've only been here a couple of weeks, but yeah, that's it that I've done so far.
We believe in our workforce and we're loyal to our workforce. We all, as demolition contractors, spend a lot of money and time training our people, and that loyalty we give to them, we see back time and time over again. So that satisfaction of seeing someone have a career path with you for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years is great. And I think that's why we are an industry that leads in training and commitment to our employees.
I like the fact that it's a team thing, everyone has their part to play. It doesn't matter if you're sweeping up or if you're driving big plant machines, everyone's got their bit that they need to do.
The first 10 people that we've put through, out of the 10 we still have 8 physically working after 10 weeks, and that is a great achievement for a project in its infancy. And to have that commitment from the guys that we've got this far in, and to see them wanting to come to work every morning, that's great satisfaction for me personally, the Passion Project, and everyone involved. From a personal point of view, we need young people in the industry. This, I feel, is the right way to go about it. We give the guys the training they need to enable them from day one to get the experience they need to gain and the enthusiasm they need to gain from day one. We're not just putting them in a cabin from day one, they're actually physically out on site. And you will reap the rewards for that, because as another demolition contractor you get a committed young person who has seen what can be achieved in the industry and wants to learn and wants to be part of the industry, which is great for everybody.
Our aim is to work with, as I said, our founder partner and the FDC to use this as a pilot so that everybody can participate in identifying the right people for their companies. We embrace anybody that's interested to work with young people.
Demolition equipment needs to be tough, and nowhere is that more true than in the buckets. We visited bucket specialist MST to find out what goes into making a durable, long-lasting demolition bucket.
Well, demolition's a very harsh environment to start with. People are digging in extreme conditions, sort of pulling old buildings down. There's a lot of steel reinforcement, heavy concrete involved in the old buildings that they're taking down. So they have to have a very strong bucket to actually work in those sort of conditions. Started making buckets in 1998, and we started off looking at sort of demolition and rock buckets as the marketplace we wanted to work with. And from the initial designs, all had a very heavy stock in the head of the bucket, or head of the bucket. The point with this is you can replace the cutting edge and the rolled floor many times, but if the actual head of the bucket isn't strong enough, that's it. Once the head's gone, it's scrap. So most of the buckets, the lighter buckets you see in construction, have a very light head. They do what they do, but won't necessarily work in the extreme conditions. So once you get into rock or demolition, you need that better strength to make them last. Most of our steels come from Swedish steel. We buy direct from the direct mill, so it's all hard ox 400, 450, 500 material. Or on the larger buckets we use strength 700, which is a replacement now for Weldox 700. On the smaller buckets we still use a high yield steel, which is S355, which we also buy in from Sweden. Well, you get a bucket that lasts, and that's the most important thing. You know, because we've got people with demolition buckets that have actually transferred them from one machine to another, because they do actually work and last for a long time. So if you've got something that's made properly, it will work on and on. Whereas if you buy something that's maybe off the shelf from China, you get what you get, and it maybe do a job, maybe last a few months, but it certainly wouldn't last once you put it into extreme conditions. I think demolition contractors understand the cost saving of buying something that's good quality. Yes, so I think most demolition contractors will actually look at the marketplace and know that they've got to get a good quality bucket. We actually have had orders for, this year, last year, from a lot of demolition contractors or people buying new machines for demolition who insist on our product because they understand what they're getting. You need to know you've got good size lip and teeth on it, something that's going to last, and that's the most important thing. So from our side of things, as I said earlier, it is the strength of the head and the sides of the bucket and the design of the bucket that gives you what lasts, and that's really what you need. We have a repair department that we bring buckets in every week, so we can replace the edges, the front sides, the corners, the rolled floor, depending on what they've worn out or what they've been doing with it. You'll get a bucket in where somebody's been trying to hammer down something and bent the back of the floor, and again, that generally happens if it's a lighter bucket, so we repair a lot of other people's buckets and probably bring them back to a better specification than when they were built originally. In demolition, usually they'll break the headers and the hangers and bend the floor because it's not been made for doing that job. You can repair the floor, the edge easily, but once you actually get up into the sort of head plate and the stock of the bucket, you might as well build a new bucket because you've taken the hangers off, the head's broken, it's gone, it's scrap. I don't think there's anything as such as a set of standards. I mean, most people do know how to work with a bucket, and obviously the driver's in control of what you're doing with the bucket, because if you want to put a tooth under a large stone or a large block of concrete and force it forward, you like to break something. Very often, although people complain, it's easier to break a tooth and repair a tooth than it is to actually break the hydraulic ram that they're actually digging with, which is the more expensive part. So sometimes it's not a bad thing that something fails at the bottom end on the bucket rather than further up in the arm of the machine. as I said earlier, it is all in the head of the bucket. If the head's strong, front sides are strong, the fact that you wear the edge and the teeth out, they can be replaced certainly 3 or 4 times without any problem. MST is definitely better by design.
We really hope you've enjoyed this second episode of Demolition TV. Check back again soon for another episode, and until then, work safe, home safe every day, and thanks for watching.